When I started working, I was on a very decent salary for someone my age. And that was because I worked for one of the top investment banks in the world. And before recognizing these 9 bad money habits, I was consistently in overdraft at the end of every month. And of course, being in overdraft meant that I was in debt because that money belongs to the bank and I was having to pay interest on it. And even though I worked in finance and I had the right knowledge, I was still living above my means. But once I realized what I was doing, I started replacing these bad money habits with good money habits, which not only helped me buy a house and acquire other assets, it also helps me build an investment portfolio which now funds my lifestyle. And so in this video, I will be sharing 9 money habits that could be keeping you poor. If you're new here, hello and welcome. My name is Jumoke and I am an investment banker turned early retiree. On this channel, I share some of the strategies that I applied to manage millions of dollars for some of my ultra high net worth clients. I also talk about personal finance, investing, wealth creation, as well as self-improvement. If that sounds interesting to you, do not forget to click the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss new videos every week. The first money habit that could be keeping you poor is confusing frugality with good personal finance. You have most likely heard this 1,000 times. Stop buying coffees, make your own lunch, get off Netflix. They say that's the secret to getting rich. Cutting back on lattes and skipping takeouts can help, but focusing only on small savings, in my opinion, creates a scarcity mindset. So let's be real. Skipping a £4 or $5 latte is not going to build you a life of freedom. You stay broke because you confuse frugality with financial strategy. And don't get me wrong, being careful with your money matters a lot. But if your whole financial strategy is based on cutting back, then you're playing defense your entire life. A 2022 report by Lending Club found that over 60% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, and even those earning 6 figures. And part of the reason for this is that some people focus on saving pennies when they should be building dollars. Saving money is a fantastic first step, but the second and more important step is growing our money. That is what will make us rich. Imagine if instead of obsessing over saving $5 a day, you learned how to make $500 more every month. Sadly, a lot of people try to save their way into wealth without learning how to grow what they've already saved. But when you start combining smart saving with smart investing, it's a beautiful thing. The second money habit that could be keeping you poor is overusing your credit cards. Now, I know certain individuals who take out credit cards because of the rewards attached to them. I have a friend that has the one card that when you pull it out, everybody knows you're rich. You don't have to say a word. And that is because getting that card is by invitation only. He owns the Centurion card, also known as the Amex Black Card. And the annual cost of owning this card is around $5,000, roughly around £3,700. Now, he can definitely afford it. And he's a big boy, as we say. He feels that the prestige, the network, the money he's made, and the rewards he gets from owning a black card more than compensate for the annual cost. But this unfortunately won't be the case for majority of individuals who own a credit card that they cannot keep up with. And what happens is they unfortunately end up suffering from credit card fatigue. Now, I personally have never owned a credit card, and I do not intend to own one for personal reasons. But I hear that they are amazing for flight rewards, hotel discounts, and just the convenience of having one. I often find that people who own credit cards tend to spend more than they otherwise would. And that is because they don't have to worry about having immediate liquidity or funds to spend. They can always pay off their credit card balances later. The thing is, credit card companies are profit-making enterprises, and credit cards promise you freedom. But for millions of people, they deliver chains. Yes, it does feel nice to not have to worry about having money in your account when you want to buy things, but putting things on plastic makes you spend mindlessly. And what they don't tell you is that the average interest rate on credit cards is around 24% in the UK, and it's even worse in the US at 28%. And so that $100 emergency quickly becomes $250 if you cannot pay off your credit card balances fast enough. And if not managed properly, credit cards can easily turn today's comfort into tomorrow's headache, because they won't just steal your money in terms of the hefty interest rates you're paying, they'll steal your peace of mind. And this is why, as amazing as they might be, if you decide to use one, you must stay on top of them and pay off the balances as soon as you can. The third money habit that could be keeping you poor is one that you most likely have heard, but it begs a reminder, and that is paying yourself last. Now, here's what I mean by paying yourself last. As soon as you get paid, your rent comes out, your bills are paid, you go shopping, you might go to dinner with your friends, or you might loan money to a family member or a friend. And then you plan to save if there is any money left over at the end of the month. The problem is that for a lot of us, there never is any money left over to save. And that is precisely what happened to me all those years ago. People who get ahead financially do the exact opposite. They pay themselves first. That means that after the government has taken a lovely large chunk of your earnings via taxation, before any bills are paid or you go swiping your cards, you set aside a portion of your hard-earned income into a savings account or an investment account. That is paying yourself first. You are prioritizing making yourself rich before you make other people richer. You have to start treating saving money as a bill. It's debt that you owe to your savings account every single month before anything else is paid. The fourth habit that could be keeping you poor is trying to keep up with expensive friends. God bless them. We all have one. Or maybe you are that expensive friend. There's a famous quote, "Show me your friends and I will show you your future." If you have friends that have a bigger budget than you, well, that's great. You want to be around people like that. But it's also good to be authentic and honest about your reality. It's prudent to surround yourself with friends that are comfortable with you saying, "I can't go on that holiday," or "I can't stay in that hotel," or "I can't afford that expensive dinner because I'm working on some financial goals and I need to save at the moment." Everyone has different levels of tastes as well as different budgets. And you will always meet or see individuals online who have better things than you. That will never change. And if you are forever trying to bridge that gap, you will not only run up your debt levels, you will run up your stress levels and your blood pressure. According to a 2024 American household credit card debt study by Ned Wallet, the average American household carries approximately $175,000 in debt. And now imagine adding to your already significant debt by buying things you don't need to impress people who will notice your latest shiny object for all of 10 seconds. It basically comes down to this. Would you rather look rich or be rich? Money habits number 5 that could be keeping you poor is living with mental overdraft. Do you ever wake up thinking, how on earth am I going to pay that bill? Or will my card go through at the grocery shop? Or how much debt do I actually have? And then the next thing you do is think, oh well, I'll let the future worry about itself. That is what is called mental overdraft. It's that constant mental juggling act. Your rent, your student loans, your bills, all of those bills are just sort of floating around in your head, and you haven't a clear plan or strategy as to how to actually pay them off. Unfortunately, saying that you will let the future worry about it is just burying your head in the sand. And so if you don't know how much you're spending every month or what your debt balances are, it's time to consolidate. And there are some fantastic apps out there that help you with budgeting, with tracking your expenses, and some of them even go as far as breaking your expenses down into categories. And the great thing is that many banks now have these tools integrated into their systems for free. So you don't need an additional app to do this. And in some cases, you can actually integrate all of your accounts into one app so you can track everything all in one place, and you can actually track your net worth. Now, although I personally am still very old school, I like to do a lot of my accounting on spreadsheets. I use some of these banking apps, and they are fantastic for helping me see my expenses at a glance. Now, I know that it is a very humbling experience for some people when you see the amount of debt you have and what figures you're working with. But if you don't know where your starting point is, it kind of makes it quite impossible to know where you want to be. The 6th money habit that could be keeping you poor is relying on one income source. Now, here is a sad fact. A lot of people are never going to get rich from their 9 to 5 jobs unless you work in an industry or a sector that pays you a significant amount or level of salary. And for most of us, our jobs can barely keep us afloat one month to the next. When I changed my money habits years ago, I actually reflected a lot on why I spend so much money every month without a care in the world. And I realized that it was because I always assumed the next paycheck was pretty much guaranteed. And years later, I came to the harsh reality that I took the completely wrong approach because I was 100% reliant on my employer and my job to keep me going. And that was the point I proceeded to ensure I had other streams of income. During the Great Recession of 2007 to around 2009, I watched some of my colleagues get called into an office that had the floor MD as well as HR, and they were fired on the spot. For everyone, it was a sobering experience. And I recall nobody wanting to pick up their phones because, well, you knew what was coming next. And in the middle of all of that, I remember getting the call and I said, nope, not today, Satan, not today. But then I got a call on my mobile phone and it turned out to be a client trying to reach me. And I thought, oops, oh dear, pardon me. If you are reliant on your salaried income, have you ever thought about what will happen if you got fired today? Rightly or wrongly. Relying solely on your 9 to 5 income is like building a house on the sand. It might stand for a while, but it's unstable, especially in these perilous times. And the truth is, the wealthiest of people do not just work for money, they ensure that money works for them. So it's important to start building income streams that flow whether or not you're working. Think about it as building a trust fund for your future self. The 7th habit that could be keeping you poor is paying too much tax. Most people don't realize this, but taxes are going to be the single largest expense in their lifetime. And the average working individual will spend 13 years or 25% of their working life working just to pay taxes. And so if there are legal ways to reduce your taxes, why not use them? Admittedly, most tax loopholes are for the rich, for people who own assets and own businesses, but there are a lot of other loopholes available to the average individual as well. For example, using your retirement account, which directly reduces the tax you pay whilst you are investing towards retirement. A second way is using your tax-deductible expenses, but of course, doing so within the purview of your employment laws. A third way is claiming all of your available tax credits. For example, child tax credits as well as education credits. A fourth way is using your tax-efficient investing accounts that shield your dividends as well as profits from taxes. And these are just a few examples. There are many other ways to cut your taxes. So make sure that you check for loopholes that are available within your locality. Number 8 money habits that could be keeping you poor is staying married to debt. We live in a society where practically everyone has debt. It's become perfectly normal for someone in their 20s to have tens of thousands in debt, whether that is student loans or overdrafts or even credit cards. And by the time you get to 40, you are drowning in additional debt like mortgage debt, personal loans, auto loans, the list goes on. And just because it has become the cultural norm and everyone is living with excessive debt does not mean you have to do the same. Because debt has become so normalized and relatively easy to get, many people do not even think twice about signing their lives away to huge sums of debt as young as 19 or 20. And these loans, plus the interest that you have to pay, can delay major life milestones like owning a house or starting a business or investing for many people. When I got my first bank account, my banker at that point said to me, if there is one advice I can give you, it's this: stay away from debt, especially credit card debt. And I have always had that at the back of my mind when it comes to my personal finances, and it totally made a huge difference in my relationship with money. The bottom line is, do not get into debt if you don't have to. Pay for things in cash and avoid buying things you cannot afford, especially if you're still paying off a lot of debt. It's already an uphill battle to deal with the amount of debt that you have now. Why make that stone that you have to roll up that hill even bigger? The 9th money habits that could be keeping you poor, and it's one that I always talk about, is either waiting too long to get started in investing or avoiding investing altogether. To be fair, Saving money feels good, right? You finally have some cash set aside and you think, okay, well, I'm being smart with my money. But the thing is, if your money isn't growing, it's shrinking. Because thanks to inflation, that $1,000 or the $10,000 that you worked so hard to save today could be worth way less in just a few years. In fact, since the 1950s, the average annual inflation in the US has been hovering around 3%. What that means is that unless you are earning more than 3% in a savings account, you are losing purchasing power every year that money sits in savings. Saving is step one, but investing, that's actually how we build wealth. That's how your money works for you even when you're asleep. And I get it. Investing can be quite intimidating and quite scary when it's all new to you. But start small and start easy. You don't have to be rich or a financial expert to get started. You can start with relatively straightforward and easy investments like index funds or ETFs, or even robo-advisors who do all of the work for you in exchange for a fee. So don't be afraid to get your feet wet by investing. Be afraid of standing still or even regressing thanks to things like inflation or a recession. And if you're new to investing, I created a simple and very easy to follow video on 10 ways you can invest $1,000. And you can watch this next here. And just like that, my dear friends, we have come to the end of another video. I will see you in the next one. Look after yourselves.